Hey guys, welcome back to this place, and if you are new, then welcome here for the very first time. I'm Carmen, and today, as I'm sure you can see by the title, we are watching Battlestar Galactica Season 3, Episode 3, which is a part one of a two-parter, and I will be watching both parts on the same day. Might not be watching them at the exact same time. So if I look slightly different, it's just a very busy day today, so I have to do what I have to do when I have to do it. That being said, I'm very excited to get into this because I've heard from a few of you guys that these are some of your favorite episodes of Battlestar Galactica. Does that worry me? A little bit. Does it make me think I'm gonna cry? A lot bit. But yeah. I'm still very excited to get into it. We have started the season off on a very dark note, I think. Although I guess the whole show is kind of a dark note. But I think that there's this underlying idea of hope and fighting for the future in Battlestar that this season still has, but in a much more like subdued sense. So I'm interested to see if we stick with this sort of like dark turn, or if we make like a hopeful left or right somewhere down the road. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm really enjoying the tone of this season, even if I do kind of feel like I need to watch a comedy afterwards because it's just very heavy. Anyway, where we left off, where did we leave off? I know that Kara has like a child now with Creepy McCreeperson. What's his actual name? Leoben. That's a whole disturbing situation that I've already told you my thoughts on. I'm a little bit disillusioned with Ty right now. There's this whole argument between Adama and Lee about the future of humanity, and Lee's going off with the 2000 and Adama's going back for the people that are on New Caprica. Everybody hates Gaius. Oh yeah, where we left off was a Cylon firing squad killed, or we heard the gunshots of a Cylon firing squad shooting at a bunch of people, including Rosalind and Zarek. Callie got away thanks to Jammer, and that's sort of where we left off. So let's see if Boomer and company get to them, if Rosalind escapes, if Zarek sacrifices himself or saves both of them somehow. I don't know. Let's find out. Looks pretty good, honestly. They're doing the 1 hour earlier thing, but we'll see how I like it this time.
I want you to know I would do anything for you.
She has.
I got this from the dead drop, from the source in the administration. It's a death list and Callie's name is on it.
Yep.
Pull it together. You won't do her any good if you get caught too. Besides, the last thing your son wants is me and Ellen for parents.
He's like, you know what? You're right. Okay, so maybe that means that there was like some sort of rescue. So something is going to happen at the point before the Cylons start shooting. Like maybe the gunshots that Callie heard and the audience heard as she's running is actually like the gunshots of the insurgents, you know, them, like the good guys, fighting for survival, as the little intro thing just said. Breeders Canyon. Who named it that? I'm guessing the Cylons?
The bullet heads are lining up.
Sight in on the Centurions. Right now.
Callie's right in our line of fire. If we shoot, we're gonna hit her.
Count to 5. Open fire.
Okay, is he gonna tackle her?
2002. 2005.
Okay.
So we gotta get out of here.
Stay put. Trust me. Now!
Thanks.
Oh, he took his mask off. Jammer, what are you doing? That's not safe for you, bud. Cavill. A Cavill. They're gonna find out it was Ellen. Sam knows that she was gonna throw that away.
We were sold out. Ellen.
I knew it. Okay, but she was just doing it to protect her husband. Like, surely you can understand that. You would probably do the same for Starbuck. Oh, okay. I thought it was somebody, like, that I cared about being injured.
Hurts, huh? Good. Then I hope it hurts a long, long time until you go to Download City.
Okay, but they definitely should have just made sure he was dead before he saw who killed him.
It's good to see you, Chief.
Good to see you too, man.
What happens now? Where do we go from here?
Not
We're going home. We're going home.
okay. I was like, not
Admiral Adama's on his way.
back to New
Getting
Caprica.
off this rock, we're going back to Galactica.
Yeah, y'all better hope that this plan goes off without a fucking hitch before everybody downloads, because otherwise y'all are all super fucked. And not in a fun way. With this filter, it's actually really hard to tell who is who and what's happening. That's Boomer's baby? Why is she having that dream?
4 months of watching you slip further and further down into this well of self-hatred and loathing. Do you know what I've given up for you?
Do you know what he's given up for you?
Do you know what with the occupation and everything? Not really say I've given it that much thought recently.
Honestly, he's just not in a good place. Physically or mentally
go.
or emotionally.
Please.
You're all he has left. To be fair, for the most part, he's all you have as well.
Hey, there's something that I wanted to say to you. I'm sorry that I left you alone. I didn't mean for you to get hurt. I was upset with myself, not you. Grown-ups do stupid things sometimes.
She's not wrong, but still. Oh, she's so small. She's a cute kid, but I want Starbuck to get the fuck off New Caprica and back on the Galactica. Dream coming true. What is she eating?
You have any candy?
What kind of candy is that?
Oh, Zeus sees all. Sees you, number 3. All the gods weep for you.
There is no Zeus, no other god but God.
It is your dream that brings you to me. I have a message for you.
Okay, what's he say?
The fruit born of 2 peoples is alive. Shira lives. It's not true.
It is true.
You will hold her in your arms, and you'll know for the first time what it is to feel true love. But you'll lose everything you've done here.
Okay. Is it because of the escape?
All right, people, you know how this works. Pegasus crew on the port side of the line. Galactica on the right.
What are they doing? That is a lot of salt they're just wasting. Is this like a ritual?
Their enemies will divide them, yet still they will remain, always together.
Always together.
Okay, so it's some sort of like religious ritual. Weird. I shouldn't say weird. I don't mean like, I shouldn't judge. I just am like, oh, it's interesting. Like, I'm not sure the significance of putting the salt there than like spreading it, right?
Take the civilian fleet. Wait for me for 18 hours. If I'm not back in 18 hours, then find Earth. I'll see you at the rendezvous point.
Try not to be late.
I'm getting old. I'm a little slow. But I'll be there.
Gosh, I wish I could talk you out of this.
Can't.
I'm glad that you can't.
You know, Dad,
Don't say goodbye.
Don't make me cry. My own hair attack.
I'm glad. Because I didn't want to cry either. Thank you, Adama.
One of the fives got pretty shot up today by the insurgents. He's gonna make it.
Could have let him suffer.
It's not what I do.
What about the baby? Sharon's baby, Hera. When that child died on Galactica, why'd you cremate the body? It's the first silent human hybrid, and you threw it in the incinerator.
It wasn't my decision. That was the president's call.
She's asking
just following orders.
Smart questions.
She said, I hope it hurts you for a long, long time before you go to Download City. And then they just left me there. They left me in the hot sun with a bullet in my guts.
Yep.
What a noble race you are.
You were lining them up for execution, so like, is there a moral high ground for you to stand on?
3 for me. 3 downloads. The first one, I got a headache, but I could handle it. Now it's worse and worse. This time it was like a fracking white-hot poker through my skull. Not worth it. None of this is worth it.
Worst comes to worst, we can always nuke the city and be done with it.
You know, if you think about it, once everybody leaves, Gaius is just gonna be stuck there with the fucking Cylons.
And once I get the keys, you need to distribute them to the pilots who can fly those ships out of here.
We're already on it. We got pilots standing by. Anders.
What about Starbuck though? Because y'all don't know where she is.
Do me a favor. Just keep an eye out for Starbuck. I don't know if she's alive or if she's dead, but it's been 4 months.
She's alive, but she's in a pretty fucked up situation. What are you gonna do about Ellen? That is the question.
We must keep the child hidden at all costs.
She's so cute.
Sam, I need you to really hear me on this. There is no one of higher value than Maya and her child. We cannot let them fall into Cylon hands.
Does he know why though?
How far do you want me to go? I don't suppose you're gonna tell me what this is all about. I mean, what's so important about this kid?
So he doesn't know.
She may very well be the shape of things to come. That's either a blessing or a curse.
Does he get that? Does he understand what that means? Does he understand that? Did he get the like, or no? Or did it go like?
Saul!
Curious how that's gonna go.
She sold us out.
What are you talking about? We were ambushed at the rendezvous. The Cylons knew exactly where we were gonna be.
Well, that doesn't mean Ellen had anything.
This is the map, Colonel. The map that I drew for you. I gave this to you in your tent. You were gonna burn it, but then your wife offered to do it for you.
I got it off a dead skin job.
So he remembered.
I want to explain. Saul.
Goddamn traitor!
Shut your frickin' mouth!
There is.
He said he'd kill you.
Who said it?
One of the brother Cabals. I did it for you, Saul.
She did.
It was all for you. I had
not
to.
lying.
I didn't have any choice. Don't you see that?
What would you do for Starbuck, Sam? What would any of us do for the person that we love, you know, in that fucked up situation? Like, I really can't blame her for it. like personally.
What are you doing? Oh my God, it's you. You're betraying your own people. Not one of them.
I gave him my word.
Well, that's not what counts. It's who you give it to.
I'm gonna have to shoot you now.
Hera lives.
What?
Uh-oh. Your daughter, Hera, is alive. Your new friends tell you that?
Fuck. This is gonna be bad. If she believes her, which she's not lying.
They faked her death and they hid her from you.
You would say anything.
No, I had dreams. And in the dreams there was a human oracle. So I went to see to turn your life.
I'm not gonna kill you, but I'm gonna wound you so you can't warn the others.
The oracle said that the fruit born of two peoples is still alive. That Hera lives and I would hold her in my arms and I will know true love. Down the gun, and when I find her, you can hold her too.
She's gonna shoot, I think.
Adama wouldn't lie to him.
It's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be so bad when she finds out that he did lie to her. Fuck.
Congratulations, by the way. I heard it's a boy.
Oh.
What's his name?
Nicholas, after Callie's grandfather.
You remember when you helped Hilo spread Hera's ashes? You actually saw the ashes?
Yeah, of course. Why?
She's questioning though.
Just to make sure Callie never lets your kid out of her sight.
Well, you don't think Hilo would have lied to you, right? Like, surely.
Sharon's got the launch keys.
She's gonna be so fucking mad at you though, Adama. Oh, I don't think she's... I don't want to speak in definitives, but like, it's highly possible that she will never forgive him.
You know the mission. You should also know there's only one way that this mission ends. And that's with the successful rescue of our people. Look around you. Take a good look at the men and women that stand next to you. Remember their faces.
I'm sorry, I'm just
One day you will tell your children and your grandchildren that you served with such men and women as the universe has never seen. And together, you accomplished a feat that will be told and retold down through the ages.
I mean, hopefully.
And find immortality as only the gods once knew. I'm proud to serve with you. Good hunting.
Adama knows how to give him a little, like, let's go speech, you know? I can't watch the second part at this exact moment. I have to wait like a few hours. It's just a busy day, you know? Honestly, I think that's a good, like, exciting place to end it for a little bit though, because yeah. Find immortality like only the gods once knew. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. Adama, like, does he practice these speeches? Do you think he like writes them down in a notebook? Do you think that sometimes he's just like sitting there drinking in his cabin and he like thinks of this like good quote and he's like, I'm gonna write that down for later, just in case I ever need it? No? I kind of like to think that that's that's how he does it. Okay, so there was a lot in this episode to discuss, and I know that you guys said that I need to watch this episode and the next episode together. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna watch them on the same day. I can't watch them together, unfortunately. It is a very busy week and I just don't have time to do that, or else like you just wouldn't get Battlestar this week because this is like when it's fitting into my schedule. But I honestly think that this episode had enough in it and like enough of like a tiny little cliffhanger that it's worth, you know, sitting here and doing this video and discussing it alone. Like, obviously when I get part 2, I'll have the full context and I'll be able to elaborate on things more. but I think that this episode has enough that it's worthy of commentary on its own as well. So I hope nobody is upset that these are 2 videos instead of 1, and that, you know, it's okay that you're gonna have to hear me ramble about it twice instead of once, I guess. So this is a 1 hour earlier sort of situation, which you guys know, as a general rule for a formula, I am not a fan of. 1 hour is not that big of a deal. It's not like the whole 72 hours, 24 hours, whatever hours that we've seen previously. And I do think that this episode, in comparison to the episodes that sort of like frustrated me that had that in the last season, is definitely a big step above. In fact, the 1 hour earlier thing didn't really bother me at all in this episode. The only thing that was like the tiniest bit frustrating, although it was also a tiny bit helpful, is that it started off showing the scenes that we had already seen in the last episode, which feels a bit unnecessary. Like, I think if it had been between the 2 episodes, it had been like a summer break, because the last episode was the season finale and this was like the season premiere, it would make more sense to do it that way. But it's only been a week, so like we probably remember where we left off, you know? Like, I had forgotten a tiny detail of it, but yeah, I don't know. I felt like the playing of the scenes that we had already seen felt a bit unnecessary. They could have just like done like 10 seconds of the end of the scene and then sort of like gone to the next scene and it would have been fine. That's really the only like tiny little criticism I have for this episode, because otherwise I thought that it was really, really good. Like, I love seeing 3 like sort of going to that oracle, I think she called her, and having these dreams about Hera, or Isis as we know her, which is, you know, Sharon and Hilo's baby, and telling Sharon about it, which since it happened has sort of been my biggest fear, is her learning that it happened, because I really, really think that, you know, it's gonna be a hell hath no fury sort of situation, and Adama is gonna live to regret it, because especially after in this episode her saying Adama wouldn't lie to me, and knowing that they have gotten so close since last season, it hurts me, it hurts my heart, and it hurts my soul to imagine the confrontation that will take place when the truth eventually does come out, because it's gonna be so bad, so bad. That also brings me to another thing that I want to talk about, is everyone is still like sort of in awe of Sharon and Hilo's baby, and like the idea of it, like she's having dreams and she's saying, you know, if I, you know, get to hold her, I'll know true love and things like that. And it just makes me question the validity of what Leoben is saying in regards to Casey being Kara's baby, Kara and his baby, because then she would also be a human Cylon hybrid, and like, why would people not be as obsessed with her? You know? It just seems like it's also weird that like they're just locked away in this different section of town and we never see anybody except Starbuck and Leoben in that area, right? Like, they went to the hospital with a little girl, I think, some version of a hospital, but it wasn't Doc Coddle. I don't know. I'm just a little bit suspicious of Katie. Casey, excuse me, not Katie. I'm just confusing names. What else? I was gonna say something else. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. My brain is slow today. I'm also concerned that Gaius and Starbuck both are in very inhospitable environments to be rescued and escape New Caprica. So I'm very concerned that when this exodus, as this episode is titled, happens, that Starbuck and Gaius will get left behind. One, I don't think that they would take Gaius and like let him come with them, even were he not surrounded by Cylons all of the time. Two, Starbuck is like in prison essentially. And so I worry that she is going to also be left behind. I mean, I think it's pretty inevitable that Gaius will be. And he's probably at some point maybe going to help the Cylons, because kind of seems like he might get put in a position where that's his only option. I don't know. I want to see Starbuck back on the Galactica. I want to see her interacting with Adama. I want to see her interacting with her husband. I want to see her interacting with Lee and Hilo and Sharon and just like everybody. So I'm concerned. I'm a little concerned about where that's gonna go. I'm also concerned about the rendezvous in 18 hours with Adama and everybody. I'm concerned about the escape. I'm concerned about the rescue. I'm concerned about the, like, how they're going to get back to Galactica, like how many casualties we might have on the way. And the thing is, we know essentially the plan. Usually, not always, but you know, 9 out of 10 times, we know a plan in a television show. That plan does not work in the way that we're thinking that it's gonna work. Also, if 3's dream is to be believed, Isis, aka Hera, somehow gets left behind. Like, how does that happen? You know? Shit has to go wrong. Like, obviously her dream is, I mean, I don't know if they're saying her dream is like prophecy and so it's going to come to pass or whatever, but it's concerning. It's concerning, you know? I also like, and this is like a small thing, I guess, but I like the fact that the Cylons are experiencing death and then download, and then it like gives them this really bad headache, and like they're like, it's not worth it, which I think is good, because it's like they're kind of like little kids, right? And when you get hurt and you do these dangerous things and you come away with like a broken arm or a sprained whatever or a cut or X, Y, and Z injury, you sort of learn to be more careful, and you sort of learn your limits, and you learn what you should and shouldn't do, because like it's not worth it. And I sort of feel like the Cylons are dealing with a version of that, with, you know, dying and being downloaded and everything again, because they're realizing their limitations and what they are and aren't willing to go through as far as like physical pain and emotional turmoil caused by physical pain. And it's a really interesting way to sort of humanize them a little bit, even though they are so like not human in so many ways. We also see it with like Caprica 6, which I know they just call her Caprica, but I like to call her Caprica 6. So with Caprica 6 and Gaius having their whole conversation, and they're like kind of like a couple that is forced to stay together but doesn't really love each other the way that they used to, but they don't have any other prospects, I guess. Like, I'm trying to think of like an apt metaphor for their relationship now, because she gave up everything for him, but now she doesn't really have anything left because she gave it all up for him, and he kind of got backed into the corner of giving everything up for her, and now she's the only person that he has. And like, that wasn't necessarily a choice that he made. So I think it's this interesting sort of dynamic between the two of them, of people who in a way do love each other very much, but are also kind of stuck with each other, and maybe realizing that they're not as compatible as they once thought they were, because, you know, they just don't fit. Like the puzzle pieces of them and their lives just don't fit the way that they used to. So I don't know. I just think it's an interesting dynamic. Maybe I'm way overthinking it, but it's a dynamic that I imagine we'll see a lot more of, because like I said, I don't think Gaius is going to be welcome, wanted, or even able to get on one of those ships and get the hell back to Galactica. I also do kind of worry about Starbuck and Gaius and whoever else might possibly get left behind, because they sort of changed the formula a bit, right? So it's going to be interesting to see if we go back to the old formula or if we go forward with a new but different formula than the one we have now. And what I mean by that is, like, the old formula is they're on the ships, they're fighting back and forth, they're trying to find Earth and trying to get away from the Cylons. New formula, they're on New Caprica and all of this is happening. So are we gonna like have like a, like some people are still on New Caprica stuck there, then some people are on the ships, or are we just transitioning back to like the ship to ship sort of formula? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I have a preference. Obviously I don't want Starbuck to be stuck on New Caprica and everybody else trying to find Earth, because like, then how is she going to interact with characters that I want her to interact with, you know? I'm also really interested in what we're going to do with Ellen going forward, because she admitted her treachery, right? And I personally fully understand and cannot and do not blame her for the choice that she made. I'm not approving of the fact that she chose Ty over 200 people, right? But I also think that it's a very human thing, and it's a very understandable thing that this is the person that you love. And I think that for every one of us in the world that is human, there's probably somebody that you love enough that you would do kind of horrific things if it meant that that person would be okay, to protect them, to save them, you know? I kind of hope that they are lenient on her, and I hope that Ty forgives her, because she did it because she loves him, and it doesn't make it right, but it makes it very understandable. I also wonder if Sam understood what Rosalind was saying when she said that Isis is the shape of things to come. I think that he did. Like, I feel like he kind of, like, on some level was like, okay, I get why I get what you're saying. So, I don't know. We'll see. That's not really, like, super important, I guess, like, if he realized what she was saying or not. But I am curious about it. There's probably other things that I'm forgetting to say, because I feel like I have not talked that much, which you guys are probably like, bitch, it's been forever. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now though, because I'm sure anything that I forgot to say will be revisited in part 2, and we can just talk about it then if I did forget it. So, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want, you can like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can watch the next episode right now over on Patreon, which will be linked in the description down below, as well as my entire full-length reaction to this episode and every single episode thus far of Battlestar Galactica, including the miniseries and the Resistance webisodes. That is over on Patreon as well, so I hope you join me over there. And I hope to see you for part 2. Until then, bye guys!